Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Behind the Cover with Zanetta. Thank you so much for being patient with us. I know that we are just 1 minute behind, but we were having a little bit of technical difficulties. But we wanted to make sure that we give you quality um, uh, uh, a show today. And so we weren't going to stop until we have Wendy because she's a phenomenal woman who has an incredible, remarkable story to share with us. And she is a best selling author. She is a mother of three. She is an entrepreneur. She's a YouTuber, a grammar. That's Instagram. I found that out. Um, and she's just amazing. So, without further ado, I am going to introduce Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how are you, hon?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much
Okay.
for asking. So, I know you're a bit kind of baffled, just a little bit tilted
A
because
little
of the.
technical, but it's fine.
That's what happens when we're live.
I see. But it's
It's
okay. We figure it out.
yes, it's not recorded, so people will know that this is not a recording. They can actually interact and talk with us. And so I wanted to bring you on here because when I read your story on Love Mama, um, it just hit me to the core.
Wow.
I have three normal kids, as
Hmm.
what we call normal.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is weird, but yeah.
yeah, and so I can't imagine not just having two kids that are special needs, but to top it off, losing one.
Yeah.
That um, I lose words. I just can't put any kind of question to it outside of tell us the story.
You want to hear know the story about the whole story or Paige?
Yeah, you tell us what how does it feel? I mean, what is it like? I know it's painful.
Yeah.
But what was the process? What was going through your mind?
Well, when we lost Paige, it was a bit of a shock because although she was special needs, just a little backstory. Paige was born healthy, completely healthy, perfect little girl, and shortly after celebrating her first birthday, she contracted meningitis, and that devastated her brain. So as she grew older, although the doctors only had her living a couple of years at most, as she grew older, things just kind of broke down. She had severe scoliosis, she had respiratory issues, she had asthma, hydrocephalus, so she had a shunt in her head to drain the excess fluid from her brain. G tube. She had to have there was a vest that I don't know. Some people may know they do this in the hospitals when
Mhm.
someone has pneumonia, kind of to break up excess fluid. She had a machine that with a vest that did that regularly. 24-hour nurses when she wasn't in school, but it was just weird because out of all the sicknesses and hospital stays she had at the time of her passing, she wasn't sick.
Mm.
She just slowly passed away at her dad's house, and I think that was a shocker to me. We kind of braced ourselves and talked to Matthew, our oldest son, about Paige going to the hospital and may not come back one day. But this was a shock because she hadn't been sick. Um, so her passing was just, it was kind of hard to believe at first.
Mhm.
And then it's weird because you have all these people around you trying to, console you and see what you need. And it's just like you need a minute to understand, like, did this really just happen? Because that's not the circle of life, right?
Right, right.
Um, so it was just us kind of readjusting because Paige was the oldest. She had consumed most of our life, like most of our day was taking care of Paige. And with her gone, you just come in the house and wonder, like, Lord, what am I supposed to do?
Mhm.
You don't want to do anything. For me, I fell into a depression But thankfully, I had the boys left. So I knew I had to get up with Christian, who is also special needs. I had to get up and take care of him. Like you don't have the
Mm,
luxury of wallowing in the grief. And just kind of the way I was raised and past experiences that I've had growing up, I've always learned to just keep going
mm,
and just pushing through. Like it's kind of like if you're stuck in the snow driving, you just keep revving the engine in hopes that the wheels take you through.
yes.
Um, and that's kind of what I did. I tried to stay close in communication with Matthew because at the time of her passing, he was 12.
Hmm.
Yes, he was
Wow.
12. And I knew it was something, kind of weird for someone at 12 to deal with. So I think I just threw myself into caring for the boys and trying to make sure Matthew was okay. If he had questions, no matter how painful it was, we talked about it because I needed him to be okay.
Yeah.
And in doing that and taking care of Christian, it made me better.
Wow.
Um,
So let me pick your brain really quick because I know when I was writing my book, a bunch of emotions started popping up that I thought were healed. I thought,
right.
they were gone. But when I started to write, put the pen to paper,
Yeah.
all of this emotion started to rise up. Did you have that experience as well?
Definitely. And it's funny that when I talk to other parents who've lost a child, people expect you to get over it or get to a point where you're good. And I venture to say you never get good. You
Mm,
just learn how to manage life a little better. But for me, I just allow like writing that story. Yeah, you reliving everything.
yeah.
And for me, I let it come. If I have to cry, I have to cry. I don't try and hold it in and say I'm supposed to be strong about it or I should be over it. I allow it to happen. I allow that feeling to happen because at the end of the day, I'm still her mom and I still miss her
Mm,
every day. And yeah, sometimes I have hard days and some days I'm just like, good. I'm glad that she is. I know she is because I'm a Christian. I know she's in heaven. I know she's no longer sick, that she no longer has to um, deal with just all the stuff, the equipment on her, people poking and prodding on her, and her just pretty much laying there because that's what she did. I knew that she was up there in heaven with the Lord. She's dancing and she's happy.
yeah.
And to think of it that way gives me happiness, although
Mhm.
the human part of me, I miss her. I miss her every day.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Tell me, as I was reading your book, and I was like, so to have one special needs, and then to have Matthew,
Hmm.
who, by the way, just graduated high school.
Yes, he's a whole 18.
Woo!
It's another prayer going on.
Yeah, that's another, journey in itself.
It is. It is.
And you have Christian.
Yes.
Um, and I read you mentioned it was the Dandy Walker syndrome. Can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit more about that? I'm not familiar, with that. So that some of the viewers that we have, they can relate. And for those that don't know, we will know how to interact, when we come, in an environment of disabled or special needs kids
Hmm.
that have those kind of syndromes. So we know how to interact with them. We don't feel because people get funny around.
Yeah, I know.
They feel they don't know what to do or what to say.
I know
And
that well.
yeah, so please tell us about that.
So Dandy Walker is basically, in a nutshell, a malformation of the brain in utero. So at 20 weeks, we went to see if we were having a boy or girl, kind of what everybody does.
Yeah.
And it taking too long, the technicians looking, typing, looking, leaving, coming back, looking. You knew something was wrong, but it never occurred to us that something was wrong with the baby because at that point we had had two healthy children. And the doctor came and told us there's a malformation of the brain called Dandy Walker, which can be moderate or severe. So with that syndrome, it's a rare syndrome. It's more rare in boys, which we were like, what? Um, so Christian is 15 currently, and he is like a 6 to 9 month old. He's diapered. He is nonverbal. He is non-ambulatory. He doesn't walk. And he basically needs, if you think of a 6 to 9 month old, all that you have to do with a 6 to 9 month old, that's what we do with him. And we have the added, he has a G tube as well for fluids because he can't manage thin fluids. But he eats by
Wow.
mouth. He's such a joy. And although it was presented to me at the time of the ultrasound that, we can schedule you next week. I'm like, what are we scheduling? And they said, well, most parents opt to terminate the pregnancy.
Wow.
And that's the reaction I had. I was like, wait, you are moving too fast. You are moving way too fast for me. I need a minute. And so, of course, I didn't want two special needs kids. That's not something that people ask for. But the more I thought about terminating the pregnancy, the sicker I felt, the more uncontrollable I was in crying,
Mm-hmm.
the deeper depression I got. And I said, okay, Wendy, let's flip this. Let's think about it. What if you give this child a chance? If you say you trust God,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I've
Yeah.
always said, and I've made mistakes like everyone else, but if you say you trust God, okay, Lord, that's when you go into negotiation.
Yeah.
Lord,
Yes.
he's going to be a miracle child. They're going to and he's going to come out fine. I'm trying
Right.
to get myself through this.
Yes.
And they said mild to moderate to severe. So I'm like, maybe he's moderate, because you have some people with Dandy Walker who appear more normal, and you have the severe. And I think Christian is more toward the severe. I had to give him a chance. And
Mhm.
at 20 weeks, as a mom, you're feeling that child move
Yes.
inside you.
Yeah.
And the thought of terminating that pregnancy, you kind of understand what would need to be done
Mm-hmm.
for that child to no longer be. So I had to give him a chance. And I was like, well, if the Lord didn't want him to be here, the Lord would take care of it.
Yeah.
And so I just had to make sure I kept my stress level down. I'm doing all these things like trying to eat right and, keep my stress level down and giving him the best chance that he could have. And he was born, and he's been here. He's here, So that was just another thing I had to figure out, um, how to take care of two. And then Matthew in the middle, like, now I got to try and get him to have the most normal childhood that I can give him. But it's stressful. You have two, and Paige and Christian, their disabilities were opposite. There was no similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Paige is more medically fragile than Christian. Christian is more of a baby, basically. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. But because Christian looks different, you still get people who don't know how to act. So when people ask me that, I appreciate it, because at least you're trying to figure it out, as opposed to staring or saying some bad things that I've heard people say. you
Right.
just you just talk to the parent. And I've told people, I'm like, talk to him like he's a person. We
Right.
talk to him
Yeah.
like he's 15. you know I don't do the baby talk with him. I talk to him like he's 15, and we make up responses from him.
Mhm.
Oh, he doesn't want to be bothered, or and he does. He loves his brother. He lights up when
Oh.
Matthew walks in the room. And that just, you just find different ways
Mm-hmm.
to have joy with the children that you have. And
Yeah.
I've been blessed to be able to find that.
That is awesome. So I have Rosie Daniel here who said, "Hi, Wendy."
Hi, Rosie.
I don't know if you saw the
I did.
comment there.
I
Uh,
see it now. Hey,
okay,
Rosie.
awesome. And so, for those that are just now tuning in, we're talking to Wendy Cunningham Barnes about the different journeys that she went through being a mother to special needs, and what we call, quote unquote, a normal child in the middle that was sandwiched between two special needs and then lost her oldest. Um, I, I'm trying to pick her brain as to how does she do it. When I look at her, you don't look like someone who struggles. I was saying that I don't have kids right now. It's just me and my husband.
Yeah,
And
you're an
our,
empty
our
nester.
baby is a dog,
Yeah.
and I struggle.
Yeah.
I struggle to get up out of bed sometimes, and I struggle, to do certain things. I mean, not because of just surgery, but just because of certain things, just certain life. I mean, just today alone, uh, my daughter, my oldest, she gave me a call and we were talking, and it went from, you know, zero calm to 1,000
Mm-hmm.
in a split second.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm going to talk to Wendy, who's got it all together. And she has all of her faculties together with her. But I
Some
just,
days.
it was, how do you do it? What is a routine for you? What is a good day for you?
You know that you find ways of understanding your blessings when you have special needs children. And I often jokingly, not jokingly, say I would give anything to just have three bad kids and I'm yelling and running after. But for whatever reason, and I try not to ask why me, or um, feel sorry for myself, because that's
Mm.
helping the children. My mom just taught us, you don't feel, you get up. Okay, you don't feel good, get up. Um, but the routine in my life is that there is no routine. And I've learned and I'm a planner. Lord, I'm a list maker. I'm a planner. I've never been able
So
to
I
have like
know.
one of those jobs where you're all over the place. I need to know where I'm going at what time. That's just by nature who I am. But having special needs children teach you to you kind of roll with what life throws you that day, because even with Matthew being normal in the middle, he, growing up, he would throw stuff at me. And I'm like, what do you mean you're sick? You got to go to school because I had all this stuff planned. And you just learn to kind of ebb and flow with life,
Mm.
because Christian is just like I said, a 6 to 9 month old. And what does a 6 to 9 month old do when you are ready to walk out the door? They need a diaper change.
Oh, wow.
They
Yes.
they got
Yeah.
stuff. So there's no routine. You figure out.
Mm.
He does have the most courageous laugh. Christian is a joy. Christian is always happy. And a lot of times when I'm in my depression and, like you said, you don't want to get out the bed. How
Right.
comfortable it would be just to lay in the bed and focus on whatever you're mad about, sad about. That
Mm.
would that would be our ideal day. But
Yeah.
the fact that like we have a video monitor for Christian, and I'll flip over, grunt, and I'm looking at the monitor. He is laughing and smiling, and you know what he has waiting for you in the morning with that diaper. It's you get a steel stomach when you have a diapered special needs child. But
Yeah.
he gives you joy, and I pray a lot. I have a strong faith. I've always just had a faith in God,
Mm.
that I give him the credit for giving me. It's not something someone taught me. It's not something that I learned. It's just that the Lord has always gotten me through stuff.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
when I think I can take no more, the Lord has brought me through. And so I cling to him. That footprints poem, where sometimes it's two sets of footprints. A lot of times there's one set, because I'm like, I need you to carry me. I can't do it.
Wow.
I can't do it.
Wow.
Um, but just seeing Christian's joy,
Hmm.
and we would see Paige would smile. It wouldn't be necessarily a purposeful smile, but we would take it as one.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, she's smiling, yay! Or she'd make just a slight sound or a slight movement of her body, and we would just count every little thing as joy. And I tried to
Wow.
instill that into Matthew, like, yeah, yep, it's raining, and you want to go to the park. It sucks bad, but
Mm.
we can stay in and we can hang out together. We can do something in the house. You just try and, as a mother, you always try and figure out a way for your child to learn that lesson
Yeah.
from a bad experience. And for him, I told him, I said, it's you've lost someone at a very young age.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but hopefully that has taught you compassion. Hopefully that has taught you that we are all on that same list, that tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
So work always to make today count.
Yes.
So that kind of takes away people, like this person cut me off on the expressway, like, he didn't hit me, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's raining. Oh, well, thank God I have a working car with the wipers. I just always try and find the positives
Mm.
in everything. Even, like I said, I'm ready to walk out the door late. And Christian's like, no,
I got a package
I
for
got
you.
something for you. And I'm just like, what?
So I don't know if you see this. It's my good friend. She's a dear friend of mine. Jillian. She said she needs to meet my friend Sherry, who lost her son to gun violence and is working on her nonprofit called Not Forgotten.
Perfect.
So for those of you that would like to know more about Wendy, she does have a email account that you can reach out to her.
Hmm.
And she also has her, if you guys jot that down, it's the Wendy Life. And if you haven't subscribed, highly suggest that you go to the Wendy Life. She's on Facebook, she's on Instagram, she is on YouTube, and she is also, let me see, let me go to that, the YouTube Wendy Life. I went through all of her videos, and my God, it was just amazing. You're just an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
can tell that one of those days that when you're like, oh, don't you feel like that? I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So do subscribe to
Thank
her
you.
YouTube channel, subscribe, friend her on Instagram, get her on Facebook, and also the radio show Road to Eternity. I was stalking you, I really was.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, after I read your portion of the Love Mama anthology, I
Mhm.
just wanted to know, who is this person? And so I just did a research. I was one of the stalkers, and I just had to have you here with my viewing audience of
Thank you.
Be Live and transforming daily lives, because you truly transform me. You
Oh,
have
that's a
truly
blessing to
transformed
know.
things that I have been thinking about. I mean, like today, I blew up at my daughter,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? Let me stop this real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me put a kibosh on this,
Yeah.
kind of thing, because you made that impact
Oh, wow.
in my life.
Wow.
And so, speaking of making an impact, tell us about this book that you're. I'm excited about the book. I'm excited about the book that's coming.
The one that I'm
So
losing
we're
sleep writing. Ah, ah.
so we have one right now, Natasha Broadway. Natasha is she's one of our dear friends as well,
Thank you,
and
Natasha.
she's a phenomenal woman as well. So she's just subscribing. So tell us about the book.
So the book it stems from the story and Love Mama anthology, just expanding on that. And what I'm including, in addition to my life as a mom, are the incidents and experiences that happened prior to becoming a mother that helped make the person who was able to deal with what was thrown at me as a mother. Um, yeah, I was sexually abused as a child. I was
Mm.
introduced to drugs at a time where children are not supposed to be introduced to drugs, and that led to me making a lot of mistakes in my life. But like I said, thankfully, for whatever reason, I have always felt God saying, "You got this." Okay, yep, that's not what I want you to do, but you do this, and I just always had that feeling within me. And I just wanted to touch on what you said about you and your daughter. You were thinking of me. I would want someone to think of me in the sense that it's going to be okay. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that, and I get a lot of people saying like, "Man, I have this, and that's not nearly as bad as yours."
Hmm.
And I venture to tell people your experience is your experience,
Yeah.
and you own it. So your experience with your daughter was not ideal, but it threw you a little bit. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't make you selfish or less of a person because it's it's not as great as what I've been through. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Everyone has their own experience. And when we start, and I've had it, like Wendy, I don't know because, my son is just this. I don't have nearly as much as you have. That's not the point. The point is that you have what you have and you figure out how to deal with it, hopefully towards a positive result. And understand that there's not always a positive result.
Mm-hmm.
For me, losing Paige early, it taught me to really value life. The
Mm.
people that I've known who've passed have been early 40s and under. I've
Wow.
never known someone to grow old and die.
Wow.
I've known young people. So that teaches me that, okay, what am I going to do today? I try to stay in the now because I am, like I said, I'm a planner. So I'm thinking like next week I need to do this, and then
Mm.
tomorrow is this, and I need to do this an hour from now. But when you lose someone and you just really reflect on what that means, you focus on
Mm-hmm.
today, what's now. I try not to let things bother me because what is this too shall pass. So in writing the
Yeah.
book, I want to encourage people. I want to empower people because especially in the special needs community, or like I said, we all have our own issues that we go through.
Yeah.
Um, and we feel like we're the only one. Like no one has given birth to two special needs kids. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody. And so I felt isolated. Or when you have disorders, diseases, syndromes, and they have a whole month or they have a whole movement behind them. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's great, but that leaves a lot of us out. There is no Dandy Walker movement that I found, you know, or
Right.
like Paige fell under the cerebral palsy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a movement, but that's such a broad spectrum of things. Again,
Yeah.
I'm like, no one's going to understand this. And so in writing the book, I want to empower people to understand they're not alone. There's probably no story that someone can tell that won't resonate with someone else.
Right. Yeah.
And to just know that to talk about your story, it's not something that I enjoy. It doesn't give me joy to talk about my story, but it gives me joy to know that I can touch someone, that I
Yeah.
can make someone feel like they're not alone, that they can keep going. Losing a
Yeah.
child, a lot of times you feel like I can't do this. Yes, you can. You can. And for us in our family, we have the Page Awards because even in my entrepreneurial business, I talk about I have three children. I have a 21-year-old in heaven smiling down on us. I have two boys. Pray for me. You know what I mean? I say I say it in a way so that people. I don't want to bring you down because I've told you that,
Right.
but I want you to understand that she is
Yeah.
still a part of our family. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of why I'm writing the book. I want people to feel encouraged and empowered. Hopefully, not have the craziness that I've been through, but understanding that you're not alone and that you can do it.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Page Award. What is
Yeah.
that? What
So
is
the
that?
Page Awards. So I have a talk show, The Wendy Life, that's on the Road to Eternity YouTube channel. And in
Mm-hmm.
doing that, we are looking to empower again and bring light to the special needs community. Like there are some phenomenal people who have a disability and they just keep rocking it out in life. Even though like this one guy, he works on race cars and he has a very nice car of his own. My husband will be able to tell you, I forgot what it was, but it's a nice classic car. And
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have any arms,
Wow.
but he works like high tech. He has a degree and everything. He works. And so most people, like we wake up like, oh, my hair isn't acting right. I can't go on today. You know, the things that we get upset about.
Yes.
This man was born with no arms and he figured out a way to be in an industry that he loved. He loved racing cars, he loved cars, and that's what he does. He works on cars. So having that show and me always saying I want to always talk about Paige. I always want to talk about Paige. So Sheila
Mm-hmm.
White, who is one of the beautiful people of Road to Eternity, it's a whole family. She was like, Wendy, what about a Page Awards? And I was like, what? So the Page Awards, and we had our first one last November, and it's celebrating people in the community. It's celebrating those who are boots to ground, helping people in the community
Mm-hmm.
live their best life ever, as well as those who are disabled, who are just doing something phenomenal with their lives. And it was beautiful because the whole family was involved and you saw the smiles on these people's faces. Like one guy, it took him 2 hours on public transportation to get to that award ceremony. He showed up smiling. He was just so happy to
Wow.
be honored. And so you look at people like that and like, I mean, like Christian. Christian was there and he's smiling. And, you know, people tend to feel sorry for this disabled people. Don't
Mm-hmm.
feel sorry. Figure out how you can help them figure out a better way to have a life.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
having pity on someone is not helping them.
Right.
And most
Right.
people like, oh, you get this like, oh, I'm like,
Yes.
no, stop, just stop. Don't do that. Stop.
The one thing I love about you, Wendy, is that when I look at you and you talk about Paige and you talk about Christian and you talk about Matthew and the different journeys that you've been through, whether it be a pain point or a happy point, there's just a glow about you when you're
Oh,
talking about it.
thank
And
you.
you're smiling about when she was just lying there, and your
Yeah.
smile is like, wow, it just, we need more
Yeah.
Wendy's. We
Oh,
need
thank
more.
you.
We need more
I don't
Wendy.
know if the world can handle more Wendy.
Oh, I think we ready, and we need to be
Okay.
ready.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah. So I'm seeing on the chat here that they're trying to have they're tagging people to watch.
Oh,
So
thank
if
you.
you guys can do us a favor, you can go if you're watching it on your phone. Go to a watch party. Start a watch party. That'll get the word out about Wendy. Because I was telling Wendy, she needs to not be the best kept secret. You can't hide behind the rock anymore. You can't hide behind that little, I mean, it's a short story, but it's very, very impactful. So for those of you that want to have a synopsis of her story, it's the Love Mama Volume 2. It is available on Amazon. So, but also wait for her actual first solo book. I am excited about that. Now, I did tell you guys about Wendy and her kids and her life and her being an entrepreneur, but she is also on the radio.
I had a little extra time. So I had the radio show.
And so I stalked that as well.
Oh, good.
And my gosh, if you guys want to hear some inspiration about just different stories of different people and different walks of life, go
Yeah.
to JW Fusion. That's with the Z.
Yes.
I'm showing it right now. JW/Fusion Radio, and listen.
That's on
Um,
YouTube as well.
Yes, it's on YouTube. So it's on Facebook and YouTube.
Hmm.
So go there, and if you want to hear some inspirational stories, if you want, the one that I watched today, I stalked, Dr. Dave Martin, I think.
Oh, we love Dr. Dave.
Oh my God, that was like a
Isn't he
mind.
great?
Oh, so yes, it's just amazing. So how do you prepare for radio? How do you prepare? Because we hear you out, as a mother, you have all of this other things going on. And
Hmm.
not only that, she's also a Mary Kay consultant. She's a beauty
I don't
consultant.
sleep.
Do you sleep at all?
Yeah, just a little. Thank God for creams and makeup.
So how do you prepare for all of that for the radio show, because it's a different monster, it's a different mind frame, it's a different kind of thing, so walk us through that.
So the radio show came about because James, my husband, is an author. Between the ticks of the clock, and he had the opportunity to interview with Artists First Radio,
Mhm.
and they clicked very well. And the guy called him back and said, you should think about having your own show. So he's telling me a story. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You'll be great. And he's like, well, I told him I couldn't do it without my wife. And I'm like, what? Okay. What? So the wonderful thing about the radio show is that James is the genius behind it. I tell people I sit for an hour, I talk, I ask questions, I leave. He does the editing. He makes sure the sound is okay. He uploads stuff to everything. I mean, because if you're waiting on me, it wouldn't happen. Um, but we love the show, and for us, with all the hats that I wear, that's definitely has to be scheduled. Because James is a sweetheart. He's like, okay, Zanetta, when would you like to be on the show? I'm like, no, 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 no. We don't just throw it out. No, you about to start some craziness. I said, no, why don't we? I said, we're already dressed and cute because we've gone to church on Sunday. Let's make Sundays like our standard day. And then maybe we'll throw in a Tuesday or Thursday during the week. I said, because I need to know that when I'm looking at my calendar, when I'm doing my Mary Kay appointments, definitely don't do Sundays. Let's try to do Monday, Wednesday, maybe Friday and Saturday or something like that. I know what days to work around. Whereas if you're throwing it out, like whatever day is available, I'm like, no, we can't. No, we can't do that. So it's just being very meticulous and very, very intentional with the schedule. And like now we're about to go into season 2 of the Wendy Live Talk Show. And so I had to say, okay, nope, never Sundays. Please don't ever schedule me for a Sunday. Let's work on, and in my head, I'm thinking, let's work on the days that are not the radio days. So once we schedule it, then I know that's where I can fit in Mary Kay. So far, it's been over a year. Well, we started the radio show in October, twice a month, and then February we started weekly. So, but weekly is actually better than twice a month because we have a system and we have a flow.
Yeah.
But it's nice because it's different than Wendy Life. Like, of course, if I hear somebody has a disability, like Tashiana Banks has lupus,
Mm-hmm.
like my Wendy Life radar goes off and I'm like, I need to talk to you about something else. But we get to talk to just creative people, musicians, authors. It's been nice just to sit there and just ask questions. And
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, I was unfortunate. I can ask a ton of questions. Like a doctor's visit, they're like, oh God, I remember her from last time. Like, there's no jetting in and out because she's going to have a lot of questions. And it's just for me that I've never, and I've had teachers who've empowered me, like, you keep asking until it makes sense to you. Don't just say okay because you're embarrassed that it doesn't make sense.
Wow.
So you
Say
can't be
that.
embarrassed,
Yeah.
especially
Say
with
that
special needs kids.
again.
No, why are you saying this? I mean, but that's just kind of what we do. Why?
Yeah.
Like I go to age 2. Why? Why? No, no, no. But why?
Yeah.
But why? And I've had some debates with doctors. They're like, but this is what needs to be done. I'm like, yes, but you're not telling me something that's going to improve my child's quality of life.
Mm.
So why are you feeling? I understand. So say as a surgeon who wanted to do the back surgery on Paige, well, we can straighten her back, but you also said that that's not a permanent solution. Incurred back.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that that's a very painful, bloody, hard to recover from surgery.
Yes.
And you're not understanding that that's not going to change her quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether her spine is straight or curved, she's going to be laying in that bed, still
Mm.
needing to be turned. So he couldn't understand why I just wouldn't go with what he said. I said, I respect that you have learned, you have taken the test, you've gotten a degree to cut. That's your job. So where someone else would get upset, like he's not listening. Oh, he's gonna listen. Because at the end of the day, I have to sign that piece of paper for you to be able to do it.
Right. Right.
So I know that the ball's in my court.
Mm.
So just to say that with the radio show, I get to ask questions that people don't typically ask.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always ask a relationship question
Oh.
because we don't learn about what relationships are supposed to be. We learn that they're bridezillas. I've just learned of a groomzilla. Um, you know, I've learned of a groomzilla that, it costs X amount of dollars to get married. We want it to be the best, the most beautiful day ever. Well, what efforts are you putting into, what money are you even putting in to make sure that marriage, that relationship is strong and it stays intact?
Mm.
We don't talk about that. So I like to ask questions like, okay, you're an author, or you do this. How do you manage with your relationship?
Wow.
So that people can understand, like someone who's thinking of getting married, someone who feels they just have to get married, you have to understand what the whole dynamic of marriage is.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I can sneak those questions in, I
Uh,
do. But it's amazing how quick an hour goes by
oh
in a
yeah,
radio station. But
yeah.
it's fun. I enjoy that a lot.
Well, so how is it like to be on the other side?
Oh, with the Wendy life.
No, now you're being
Oh,
questioned. You're
it's
the one who's
exciting,
being
Susan.
questioned.
It's fun.
Okay, so
Interesting.
speaking of relationship, because I remember we were talking and I was like, how is that? How was that? Um, so your husband, and I just love uh the little back and forth that you guys have on the radio show. It's just so cute and so sweet
Oh,
and
thank
so
you.
endearing. Yes. So how was that relationship? How is because I know the backstory, but I want you to tell the story of how you met your husband with not just one, but two
Yeah,
special needs.
yeah.
And yeah, go ahead and take.
So, I'm divorced from the children's father. Having special needs children is very hard on a marriage, and we had two. So we ended up being divorced, and I was never getting married again. Like
Hmm.
I was never getting married again. I had the T-shirt, I had the banner that I swung around. Like, nope, not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it came to a point in my life where I kind of, well, actually, what happens, I went to a celebration. A friend of mine and her husband, I think we're celebrating 25, 30 years of marriage.
Hmm.
I go like, oh, that's sweet for y'all, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But in that celebration, they had other people, other couples who were there stand up and say how long they had been married. And you saw it, you heard 25, 30, 45. And I was like, really? Like, people still do that? They still do that? So as I'm listening to them and they're talking about each other and they're talking about the dynamic of marriage, I was like, okay, maybe. And then I said, Lord, I'm gonna stop telling you what I'm not gonna do. And I'm just gonna let you put me where I'm supposed to be. And if I'm supposed to be by myself, I'm perfectly fine by myself. But if it's for me to get married again, why don't we work on Wendy? And that's something, women. Oh, he needs to come with this. He got to have this. He has to look like this. His
Mm.
paycheck. We're good at spitting out what we expect, but what are we presenting? And so for me, that meant Wendy had to put herself on somebody's couch. I'm gonna sit right here, and I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna just regurgitate everything onto you, as a way to not only help myself, but to just manage the stress of having two special. I'm a single mom at this time. I have two special needs kids. I have nurses in and out of the house. I have I have three totally different school programs that I
Mm.
have to deal with and I have to be there for. And it's just, and I have always had depression issues. So I'm like, let me go talk to someone who's not going to judge me, who's not going to be like, girl, I wouldn't have did, girl, you should do. I didn't need that.
Mm.
I needed someone to help make sense out of what I was doing. And then at that time, I was drinking a lot. I didn't get to an alcoholic stage because in my family there was a lot of addiction. So I knew to stop, but I need to go with somebody. Like, if you're not going to drink, you got to talk to somebody. So I did. So
Mhm.
Donna was a godsend who helped me just kind of get my sanity back, for lack of a better phrase.
Mhm.
And I'm at church and I'm talking to a woman. James and her were friends. And I'm going to talk to her about Mary Kay. And she wasn't interested. But James pipes up and he goes, oh, do you have this cologne? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. I'm like, well, how many do you want? He's like, oh, just one. And I'm thinking I'm just going to bring it back. I'll bring it next Sunday to church. She's like, no, I need it right now. And I'm like, okay. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship who at the first date I told him I was never getting married. So after 7 years, I'm like, you really should find somebody who wants to marry you. You know what I mean? I just didn't
Yeah.
want to waste any more of his time.
Right.
And I knew we weren't at a place where I knew we would have a successful marriage. So I
Mm.
wanted to release him and I wanted to clear the clutter because if I'm asking God to bless me, then you got to move the clutter. Um, so he came to the house, and with men clients, you keep them right there.
Mm-hmm.
You hand them there. Just, okay, bye. But we had like the best conversation. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like he's trying to come on to me. I was not interested in him. No, he was just like very fascinating to talk to. But of course, I'm a salesperson, so you put samples in the bag. And you follow up. So, and that's what I did. And long story short, after um, having a very good friendship, and I'm, you have conflicting voices. Like, don't tell about your children um, too early. No, I'm going to tell you right away. I have two special needs kids. My life is crazy any given day. And let somebody be in the hospital, multiply it. I just want to be honest because I'd rather you run now and then
Mm.
I don't waste my time and become invested in the relationship than if I wait till I'm in love or, there's a connection and I tell you and then you run. So I'm just
Right.
going to tell you just upfront. And we just have always gotten along. We've always had very great conversations. We've always just had a very mutual respect
Mm-hmm.
for each other. I think he's a genius. I keep telling him we're going to take that Mensa test because he's just a genius. And the fact that um, he respects me like I'm a person that
Mm.
he listens to, and we have conversations where we're both listening.
Yeah.
I would have been stupid to not say yes.
You.
But even then, even although we never had any big problems, I said, okay, we've both been married before. I know my closet is full. We need to go and make sure that we stay this way, that we stay strong with someone who is not going to judge us, someone who is educated and experienced in
Mm.
dealing with couples. And so that took us to Judy. For 18 months, we went through counseling. We didn't call it premarital counseling. We just called it counseling,
Mm.
where she dug deep. Like some days we leave and I just need to go to bed because she just went too deep for me. But it helped us
Yeah.
understand things about each other, and it
Mm.
made us work even better together. Um, yeah, I mean, it's how people say marriage is work.
Yeah.
I venture to say it's not work. It's just you have to take intention. Like with all the busyness that we have,
Hold
okay,
up. You're gonna have to say that again. You're just gonna have to say that one more time, maybe three times.
marriage does not take work. It takes intention. Because
Mm.
we who gets excited about going to work? Who? I know I never did. Like not one day I could say, "Yay, I'm going to work." It's just something you have to do. But if you take that intention, like for us, it could be wrangling the 18-year-old to stay home with Christian while we just go out for ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Or instead of watching a TV show, let's sit and just talk. And if we can, which just happened, we have one Saturday a month when the kids are at dad's where we don't do any, it's called shutdown day. We
Uh-huh.
don't schedule anything. We wake up late, we eat, we go back to bed, we watch movies. We just spend the whole day together. And so that's what I mean by intention. You have to take that time to spend with that person to stay connected, because it's easy to become disconnected in the busyness of life.
Mm.
But we take that time to stay connected, and I mean we'll pull on each other like, how we haven't had any time, and the other person respects it. You know what, you're right, let's plan it now. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. But it's not work. Stop saying it's work because you're gonna have more divorces. Just say it takes attention.
Yes, yes. I was the same way. I already said, I am never gonna get married again. Because I was married for 23 years. I'm not gonna
Wow.
put myself through that again.
Yeah. Divorce is hard.
It is. It
Yeah.
takes a toll. It really does.
Mhm.
Even though some of them are, mutual.
Right.
But mine wasn't mutual.
Mm-mm.
It was a lot of chaos, but that chaos took a toll on me. And just, I was like, yeah, no, never gonna get married again.
Yeah.
When I met Jeff, it was totally different. I mean, I
Yeah.
even pushed him away. He'll tell you the story.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I tried to push James away. He went, I ain't ready yet. This is too fast, Lord.
Several times, several times I pushed him away, and he was like, "Yeah, no, that's not working."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same.
so he had the intentions, and we actually sat down and actually talked.
Mm.
That was the best thing that could ever happen in a relationship
Yeah.
is to
That
have.
communication is so important.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and dig deep, like what you said. Should you say that you have, not just one but two, not later when you.
Run now. Please run
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I like what you said when you were dating. You already knew that marriage wasn't. If you were going to get married to him, it wasn't going to last because
Right.
it was.
Right.
So you were honest with yourself.
Yeah. And
Sometimes,
he was a great guy. I mean, he was a great guy. People were like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's just not, we're not, after 7 years, if you're not ready to spend the rest of your life, that should be a sign. And
yeah.
for me, it was. I don't want to waste your time anymore.
Mm,
And I want you to find someone who that you mesh with, who you connect with, who wants to spend the rest of their life with you as you do for them.
yes.
So I don't. That's a waste of time.
Yeah. You're just awesome, Wendy.
Thank you.
You were just awesome. I just love how the way you put things in perspective because like us women we tend to forget our own and we think that our children is needing
Yes.
a husband, I mean a parent,
Yeah.
or we need that other half or better half or
Yeah.
whatever half we
I mean,
call
that's what
it.
society tells us. Girl,
Yeah.
you're so pretty. Why aren't you married? Like, what? What does that have to do with any? What are you talking? I mean, you're 40 now, sweetie. You're gonna get married. Like, what? What?
Right. Yeah.
That's what society tells us. So a lot of times we feel that pressure, and I think that's why I got married the first time. Although he was great. I mean, I think my kid's father is a phenomenal person. We partied well together. I'm in love. I'm getting married. Have kids. What?
Yeah.
What did you? What? So, at that age, all my friends are getting married, and
Mm,
people are looking at me like, so are you gonna, did he propose? And so you feel that pressure. And
yeah.
unfortunately, I kind of succumbed to that. And
Mhm.
we had signs that we should have never gotten married, like for both of us. And I tell Matthew knows my whole story because I'm like, I want you to understand what marriage should be about. Your
Yeah.
father is phenomenal. Love him, respect him always. And
Mhm.
I will always love him. He's the father of my children. I said, but you got to not be dumb about it. And we were dumb about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Why did you
exactly what it
why'd
is.
you propose to her? And why'd you say yes?
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It was a dumb decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
On both of our parts. People were like, well, what about, I mean, he did this. We should not have, no. It's
yeah.
okay. But, and then, and also, people say they stay together for the children. I explained to Matthew, even at 3, I said, it's better to have two parents who are happy because the love is never going to, we're both always going to love you. But it's better to have two parents that are happy and apart than being together and you learning that this is how a relationship is supposed to be because it's not.
Right.
I know
Right.
so many adults who are in relationships or marriages that mirror their parents and it's toxic. But
Mm.
that's what they grew up with. And I didn't want that to be Matthew's story.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a single mama, she by herself, and she's taking care of these daggone kids, and you get to go, you got two houses. You know, you try to make it fun. You got
Yeah.
two houses.
You get to go
Um,
to two different Christmases.
yeah, you got two trees. You wow. You know?
Two birthdays.
Yes, and he did. You know, we both worked hard to make sure he had celebrations with both of us. And you know, I was never that mom when my ex-husband, I said, listen, you can get your kids whenever you want them. I
Mm,
don't care who I'm dating. I don't care who I'm with. I don't care if you have gotten on my last good nerve that day. If
mm.
you say you want to see your children, you can see them.
Yeah.
I will never take that away from him because children need their fathers as well as their mothers. And it doesn't matter if I don't like you today. There's several days I'm not going to like you, but at the end of the day, I chose him to be the father of my children. And
Yeah.
so I needed Matthew to see that, you know,
Mm,
that mutual respect, even though we're not married anymore.
yeah. Well, Wendy, you are a phenomenal woman.
Thank you.
You
Thank
just
you.
brighten
God
the
is good. Jesus.
yeah.
I don't take no credit for this. This is the Lord. He
Yeah.
has molded me and shaped me, and I've
Yeah.
been through the fire, but I knew that through the before the fire and going through the fire and coming out, that God is who brought me through. Because if you look at my story on paper, I am not supposed to be smiling. I'm
Yes.
supposed to have about 18 kids with about 15 different daddies, you know, living in the hood.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to down anyone, but somehow the Lord took me through a series of events and journeys that brought me here.
Mm,
And, you know, I have bad days still, but I'm not going to make you feel bad because I had a bad day.
right.
Because I had a bad day, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Girl, I got that eyelash on just before you came on, but we did. I figured it out. It's okay.
Oh my. It was a joy and just oh gosh, I can talk to you all day.
I
I
know we did. We can't talk a long time, but I appreciate the opportunity to just come on, and hopefully my goal is always, because I am the super shy little girl from the inner city, and I am very good at being the wind beneath someone's wings. So but the fact that I have to come and be on the forefront, it is my prayer that someone is looking, watching, listening, and feeling like, okay, I okay, I can go on.
yes,
I can do it.
yeah,
This sucks right now, but I can do it, because you're not alone. People tend to not talk about things because people, you know, mental health, we talk about on the show. You know, if you tell somebody you're depressed, they do that slow back walk away from you, like, oh, okay, girl, well, let me let you go. You know, and it shouldn't be that way.
yes,
You
yeah,
know, figure out a way to get through, because every depression, every life story is different. So
yeah,
you have to find your own way. And
mhm,
for me, I just know the people I can call, the comedians I can pop on TV that you can't help but laugh, you know, go out and take a walk. You just got to figure out a way. And there's always a way. And there's always at least one person who is going to talk to you, not judge you. What do you need? I'm good at saying we can just go sit, we can go walk. We don't have to talk about anything. You just know I'm here. We can
mhm,
watch something on TV that I don't like, but you do. And that's, that gives you, you know what I mean? You just have to be that type of friend. And I
yeah,
have friends, and my family is like that too. Let's just sit here. I mean, James is good too. So if a man can deal with your issues, he's a keeper.
yes, he is.
Yeah, so I'm feeling a certain kind of way. I just want to really sit here and just let's can we watch TV. And I know you're here.
Yeah,
You know, nobody, I don't want somebody who's going to run. And James has never ran.
mm.
And my family, my mom and my sister and my niece missed her comedic calling, because that woman is hilarious. And even Matthew, I'll say, you know, I'm feeling kind of icky. You know, I'm just not having a good day. And in his own way, he knows how to make me happier, you know, and that's such a blessing. So I didn't arrive at this place alone. I've had this whole village that God has put in my life, starting with my family, um, that has kept me going. And
Wow.
I'm thankful to them. And publicly, hopefully, my mom, my sister, and my niece are watching. I love you guys, and you helped me through so many times. My sister's a rock star all day. She, my sister's a rock star.
Speaking of sisters, my sister is on here, and she has been my rock.
Yeah.
She's been my inspiration. I call her, a lot of people tell me, gosh, you're such an angel. I was like, no, compared to my sister, I'm the devil.
My sister too, girl. If you don't like my sister, something is clearly wrong with you. Now, me,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I may rub you wrong one day, but my sister is like, she's the nicest person.
Oh.
Like, she's okay, so she's nice, and she's a school teacher. Like, are you kidding? I'm not teaching nobody's kids. I hired a tutor for my own child, but she's great, you know?
Yes. My sister has such a big heart, and she
Yeah.
teaches little kids
Yeah.
and trying to teach them English. So I'm
See?
like, ooh, ooh, hey,
Yeah.
I can't even teach people that can speak English.
Exactly. I'm not even gonna try.
No.
No, I'm gonna give you a number to somebody who can help you because
Right.
it's not me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's really great that we have that community, that we have that love, that we
Yeah.
have that person or persons that we can really lean on.
Yeah.
So, if you can give us some last thoughts, last words for those that have lost a child, for those that have a child with special needs, for those that have been single for a long time and think that time has passed them by.
Yeah.
Give us some thoughts.
So, for the person who's lost a child, don't hold it in. We tend to act in a way that's going to make the other person feel better, feel more comfortable with our story. It's your story to tell, and why shouldn't you tell it? For me, with Paige, her birthday is January 17th, and I went live on her birthday. Yeah, I was down. I was thank you, Rosie. I was down, depressed. You know, the holidays, of course, birthdays, you tend to get a little more blue, but I went live because I wanted to talk about her silliness, her funniness. You know, we had 13 months of her as a healthy child and all the personality that she had. So I wanted to get on and talk about the good things and the things that not only made me smile, but hopefully made someone else smile, because your loved one, and there are some people who I know whose baby was stillborn. There are people who lost their child very early. You
Mhm.
have to, oh, my mom is here. I told you my mom was here. She's my biggest supporter. Um, you have to find your way to talk about your story. The more, when you hold things in, it gives it power in a negative way, and it slowly eats you alive. And it's very tricky in the way that it's so slow. You don't realize that you've gone into this valley until you're there and you can't get out. So talk about your loved one. Get therapy. I don't know why people make such a big thing about therapy. Go get you some therapy. There are people who, I mean, in our community, the Black community, everything stays in the home. You don't talk about your life. But if you go and find someone who you connect with, who has the education experience to help you come out, they have that rope to help you climb out. They have those words, they have those solutions to help keep you afloat when you feel like you're drowning. And that's what I did. Um, for the person who has been single, for me, divorce is horrible. It's horrible. So if I had to be single after my divorce for the rest of my life and not have to experience that, it would have been okay. Um, you have to learn to love yourself. just naturally always been a loner. My mom will tell you that. Like, where's Wendy? Like, listen, got my books, got my Barbie dolls. What do you want? So I've just always been good by myself, and I know a lot of people aren't. You need to find a way to be, because God has made us all beautiful and equipped with something to serve His kingdom.
Mm.
And if you have, and I told someone this, I'm like, if you have to look in the mirror every day and say, "You're beautiful," every day, "You're beautiful," and you tell it, and the other says, "Well, no, you're not." Okay, whatever. Every day, you keep seeing it until you realize it. And for me, when Paige was born, and you think your baby's the most beautiful baby in the world, and people kept saying, "Oh, Wendy, she looks just like you," and I'm like, "So, Wendy, if you think she's beautiful, and everyone says she looks like you, and you can see may want to rethink some things." And it's not about necessarily the outer beauty always. It's just God has made you beautiful, and I can find beauty, and that's why I love what I do with Mary Kay, because I can find beauty in anyone, because God has made us all beautiful, and through life, through our experiences, through who's around us as we're growing up, we've allowed that to be diminished. But God has made you beautiful. So if you're by yourself, it's not because you're not beautiful. Although, uh, I'm in a group and we talk about Sister Porter at church all the time. So Sister Porter at church asking you, baby, why you aren't married yet? Be strong and tell you I'm not ready. God hasn't prepared me or given me who I'm supposed to have. You have to be strong in telling people that I'm okay, I'm good. But I'll say I'm fine. You have to be completely okay with yourself, because God made you. He made you, Zanetta. He made me, Wendy. You were born, most people by themselves. Even if you have a twin, you still have a certain set of gifts that God has put into you to do something phenomenal in life. And we get so jaded by life and by what we see on TV that we lose that. I'm 51. Who starts a talk show? 51.
Girl, you look good at 50. You don't look 50.
Thank you. But that's just to say, people, they put such an emphasis on youth, which has its purpose. But then there's I could not have done this in my 20s or in my 30s, maybe not the 40s. It took me to go through some life experiences to become more aware of who I am
Mhm.
to get to this point. So I'm okay with saying I'm 51. I'm okay with that. I wish I had kids a little bit earlier, but that's okay. But just know there's someone out there who wants to hear your story, who even needs to hear your story.
Mm.
And we shouldn't be embarrassed, because the Bible says we all fall short.
Yes.
Not a couple of us, not everybody except.
Hmm.
We all fall short. So why are we so quick to judge another person? Because maybe that's not something you would do.
Mm.
Okay, well, that's your story, but that's their story that you're trying to judge, that you're trying to um, downgrade.
Mm.
Well, that's a sin. Well, we all sin. The Bible says that too. We all sin.
Oh.
Well, I wouldn't do that. Well, okay, good for you. But there's something that you've done that I wouldn't do. That's why we're supposed to pray and we're supposed to study to show ourselves approved. But learn to love who you are and all its flaws and all its greatness in the morning with no makeup on. When your Mufasa is acting crazy, you got to learn to love who you are. And once you get to that point, everything else kind of works itself out.
What that is, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for those that had continued to tune in, thank you so much. Thank you, and I appreciate you, and I love you. My sister is on here. She's my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
The one that pushes me all the time and says, "You need to go on live." I'm like,
Oh, your sister pushes too. It must be a sister thing.
yeah. And by the way, I am 51 too. I'll
Come
be
on, girl.
I'll,
Oh,
I'll
people.
be 52 in July.
Okay.
So, um, so for those of you that hung on and thank you so much, do share this video, have a watch party,
Talk to
do
each other.
yes, yes,
Talk.
and um, I just want to thank you, Wendy, so
Thank you.
much. I really appreciate you. And again, for those that are wanting to follow her, the Wendy Life, it's Lyfe. And for those that want to contact her, there you go. The Wendy Life at gmail.com. I don't mean to, to blow your stuff up, but you can't be a well kept secret anymore. No,
Oh,
no,
I'm
you
okay with that.
you just
If that's helping one person,
yes,
then
yeah.
that's what it's about.
Yes. And so she's also on Instagram, and there it is. It's instagram.com, the Wendy Live, and also Road to Eternity. So please do subscribe. Please do tune in. Also, the JW Fusion with a Z. Um, and again, thank you. I just want to thank you so much for your time. I know you don't sleep, so take this little bit of time to take a quick nap. Well, you don't need a beauty sleep anyway, right? Because you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That's that Mary Kay, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. And my mom looks like she's 12, so I got good genes too.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
mom got good genes, so praise God for that.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Wendy.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, I'm honored. I am.
I love who you are. I love your heart. I love your mission on what you're trying to do. I love your story because we have similar stories in a lot of ways. So I appreciate you just pouring into me and pushing me.
Yes.
Got a whole nother sister, huh?
Yeah.
But no, I don't take it for granted that God put you in my life, and I love you for life, and I just thank you for this opportunity, and thanks for everyone who paid attention and took some time out to listen to us gab.
Yes. So continue to watch, continue to comment, continue to, just do it was my first time ever finding out about a watch party. So I actually did that with you with the other day. Um,
Hmm.
so do that, do a watch party. Share this video for someone who you know that would love to hear the wisdom and the inspiration of Wendy. And until next time, so next Friday, it's going to be a surprise guest. So tune in on next Friday. Only this time it's going to be at 9 p.m. Okay, Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. I love you. And thank you for tuning in on Be Live Behind the Cover.
Bye.